Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, first and foremost, I want to say welcome and thank you. Thank you to all of my new subbies. I feel like we are going to make our goal. We're going to make it. Can I just tell you guys that it really is a big deal to me? Just so you know, I am not like everyone else. Like, as soon as I get one person, two people, three people, like, I'm literally calling somebody, texting somebody, like, oh my God, I got another one. I got another two. I'm letting my baby know. I'm letting everybody know that I got another one. And I'm clicking on your profile, just so you know. I really am. So it really does mean a lot to me. So I do thank you. And that's how I know I got a lot of beautiful people for sure. You guys, I don't know how it seems as if I be doing these. Yep, I'm just gonna keep it there. I be doing these. I don't know why it seems like I be doing these videos all the time. However, I am behind a little bit. Like, why do I have 3 and 4 to cover? That's crazy to me. But let's start with Rick Ross. You see him there. You guys, I can't stand Rick Ross. Surprise, 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 surprise. I don't like nobody, as you guys can already tell. But I don't like the way Rick Ross sounds. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like the way he speaks. I don't like his face. I don't like his I don't like anything about him. Like, I really don't. Nothing that he can say would make me listen to this interview. Therefore, I didn't. So just letting you guys know that I fast forwarded. So there's that. Except I do know, because I saw in the what I did see when I kept stopping a little bit, I'll say this. What I did see was that they allowed him to control the room. When they first started playing his music or whatever, I recall seeing him say something like, let it play, keep it playing. And they just let it play. And then he was rude enough to light up a joint or whatever. I'm so old calling it a joint. He lit up some reefer. He smoked some reefer right in the living room, which is rude as shit. He didn't ask permission. He didn't do anything. And I just need Joe to get a backbone. I mean, I do. I'm sorry. I understand when these people come up here, he feels like it's his responsibility to make them feel good, and he don't ask any of the hard-hitting questions that's going to make them uncomfortable. And he's going to just allow them to kind of run the interview because he's just not prepared ever. And he glazed, that's the new word. Like, it's a glaze fest all the time. Oh my God, I'm so broke. We know that Joe is lying because Joe don't feel broke. He tell all these people, oh, you make me feel so broke. No, they don't. They don't. He just goes on and on about how fantastic they are, and fair. That's fine. But I do know that in the comments they were saying Flip was mad about Rick Ross smoking right there with him, and I don't blame him. To my knowledge, Flip doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and you know something is always wrong with him and Mark. And Flip always got headaches, he always got something going on, he's sleepy, he's something. But I saw him like wiping his eyes and stuff. I'm like, Flip is such a baby. But I don't blame him. Like, if you don't want to be around smoke, you don't want to be around smoke. And take that shit outside like everybody else. It was just rude to me. But we move, because I can go on and on about that. But this one was called Do You See the Vision with Rick Ross. And I think before he got there is when they actually did a little bit of potting, because he came a little bit late. And we had Imani instigating Flip and Ish. They were going back and forth about who's hiding whose girl and whose wife or whatever. So Imani is claiming that Flip is hiding his wife, Linky. Got a name right this time. And he is. He is. He just said that she never wants to come. She doesn't like anything except Caribbean stuff. And Imani's so stupid talking about Rihanna was there. But he did a great job at instigating them. So Flip ends up bringing Ish into it, because he's like, Ish don't bring his girl out either, and he's hiding his girl. So of course Ish is all been out of shape, because Ish has really been in a shitty mood. But that's okay, because they have been dragging him and tearing him up in them Patreon comments. They are over Ish and Ice. They're over his shit. But the funny part was Ish is like, well, you called Joe for a ride, and why what's his name? Flip, always looking for rides, you guys. Does he not have a vehicle like Corey? Like, what's happening here? But he's like, if you called Joe for a ride and you felt like you were going to go to the concert with Joe and his girl, then why wouldn't you take your girl shopping for an outfit and just bring her along? And Imani says, he trying to say your girl ain't got no outfits. Then Flip goes, you trying to say my wife ain't got no clothes? You talking about my family? That shit was hilarious to me. And then we have Joe complaining about Ish and Ice not sharing on the pod, which they don't. And it's really, really annoying. Like, it's so annoying that you have to literally, it's like pulling teeth to get anything out of either one of them. And he's saying that they don't actually pod. Like, they really don't. You have to ask a billion questions to get anything out of them, and they don't try to make anything entertaining. They don't pod. And with that, you can just give a little bit. Like, I understood, and y'all know I don't fuck with Parks, but he was right when he said, you were on this trip with 6 other couples and something had to have been entertaining, and you could have come up with something that was just a little bit funny, but, and he's like, well, if people don't laugh, then, you sitting there looking crazy. Well, you do that a lot, Ishmael, because you say a lot of terrible jokes. So just he's not a storyteller, though. He's not. Because if you think about it, yes, he could have said something about the chef's food or, like, it's the way that you present it in a story type of way. The stuff that Joe be saying, it's not great. Like, he don't have great stories or what. Well, he does, but some of the shit don't be nothing. Her kid knocked on the door, and it's the way that he tells it. He didn't say anything offensive about the little girl knocking on the door. He made it funny, and that's what you have to do. But you have to give a little bit of yourself, which is also what I do when I throw in some of my business. Like, I don't tell a whole heck of a lot, but like, I throw some stuff in there, which is why it's called, I guess you can call it a podcast, because I am not just your normal critiquer. Like, I'm not just coming on here talking about the pod. I am talking my shit. Like, I'm just saying whatever I actually feel. So it's kind of like a podcast, and I'm happy that I do that, because I actually learned that quite a few of my people, you guys really are my people. You all consider yourselves, introverted extroverts as well, like quite a few of you, and you understand. But see, that's something that you have to share, and they just don't share. Long story short, they don't share, and Joe seems like he's really getting irritated with it, because when he brought it up, he didn't look like he was playing. I mean, should this have been something that was on the pod? No. But am I glad it was? Yeah, because I want to see. Like, I'm nosy. I would like to see that shit. And they're always talking about, not talking about contracts and all that good stuff. I think that's the stuff we want to know about. Like, I don't want to know this other shit that they be talking about. I can care less. But let's move on. Oh, yeah, and I do want to point out that Joe did say that they don't do their job. He's like, Imani said, when you're not here, I feel like they give it up easier, because Ice came up with the fact that they don't really share because Joe steps all over shit, which he does. So 2 things can be right at the same time. Joe steps all over shit, and they don't really share. But the thing is, that's the whole premise. That's the whole premise of the pod, is that they make fun of each other. They make jokes. So it's just that Ice is a sensitive bitch, and he just can't take it. So there's that. But Imani was saying, well, when Joe's not here, I feel like we're a lot more open. And yeah, that's a Joe problem, because Joe will step all over stuff. Like, once they get into stuff, he feels like it's too serious. We've talked about it long enough. Let's move on. Like, he's constantly producing from his seat, and the way he does it is just a little, it's not great. Like, it's a little rude. I just wish that he would just have regular meetings. I'll say that again. Have regular meetings about this shit, as opposed to embarrassing people on the internet. And yes, the only one who really, really calls him out, Mark, is starting to a little bit, but he's so fucking annoying. We move. But Mona is the only one that really, really calls it out, and she does it in a funny way, but you could tell that she's for real, because she says it all the time. So Joe got to get better. They all have some improving to do. And we're not even going to talk about the getting up and down and stuff that's really still happening. That's irritating the shit out of me. Like, I want Mark to either get professional or get gone, for real. Like, Joe is making constant jokes about him having to use the bathroom all the time, and he always has an excuse. Oh no, somebody's in the hospital. Oh no, my son is this, my son. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, if you can't be professional, then beat it. Like, it's so irritating. He irritates me. And then he's so loud and screaming and talking so fast that he can't get his words out, and I just be wanting to yell, slow down, like a mama to their kids. Slow down, Mark. Slow down. Take your time, baby, and get it out. And I'm not trying to clown him for the stuttering. Listen, he can't help that, I guess, but I feel like he kind of can if he slow the fuck down. So all right, so also in this episode, they talked about the Ish and Phelps thing. So apparently somebody did a TikTok where they kind of put the two together of what what Ish said and what Phelps said. And I think it's so cool that everybody is now knowing Phelps's name. Like, he has become a household name, because when I tell you Phelps was entertaining, that was potting. And Ish even said it. He was like, oh, he lying. I ain't asking him to go to Dunkin' Donuts. He potting. So, I mean, Starbucks. But the consensus is that we do think Ish asked him to go to Starbucks, Dunkin', something. He asked him to go to something different. Even though Ish said he was lying, we don't believe Ish, we believe Phelps. But Phelps made it entertaining. So yes, that is potting. Even if he was lying about something, because he added a little extra onto the Starbucks order. He's like, yeah, a medicine ball with, and he just put 20 on 10, and that was entertaining. So they can definitely learn from him. We also talked about Mona stealing at $150, which later on, when Joe brought it up in the next episode, she said, yeah, I stole that shit. Okay, move on. Don't try to stretch this shit out for 7 minutes. I stole it. It is what it is. She keeps talking about her shirts that she brought up there. Talking about, Poe, you got to pay for that. Why did I die laughing? Because how you going to tell this fool he got to pay for it? And Poe didn't even pay. So then the one thing I do want to point out, when we saw the behind the scenes, when Rick Ross came, I'll be all over the place. When Rick Ross came, I'll stay with that. They didn't even speak. They didn't even really say hello to him. Imani gave him a dap or whatever, but then all the other people that were with him, they just continued eating. Imani and them didn't even look at these people. And when he came in, the whole cast was sitting down there in their phones, and nobody looked up and said, hey, how you doing? Just rude as shit. Just rude. They were also rude. This is the other thing I wanted to point out that I forgot to bring up. They were also rude to Sensei Ja when he was giving them those hats. And they're throwing it all around like, oh, I already got this. Joe was like, I already got this. And now I don't want this one. I don't want that one. And you could see in his little cute face that, they crushed him a little bit. Like, damn, I'm trying to bring y'all something nice and free or whatever, and this is how y'all act. And I didn't hear anyone say thank you. I didn't hear not one person say thank you. So they need to learn manners up there. Like, they need some sort of fucking etiquette all the way around. Rick Ross, I have in my notes, they let him set up pictures and liquor and all that stuff. So yeah, he was just pretty much running everything, which I already said. I said, Ice talks so much behind the scenes and no one is listening. That's in my notes, and that's true. Behind the scenes, Poe, if you're listening, stop showing Ice, because we don't give a shit about what he's talking about. It's bad enough we got to listen to him on the pod and that voice and that face and everything. Damn it, that's not nice. I got to get nicer, you guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, we don't want to hear him all behind the scenes where he's talking to everybody and people not even paying him no attention. And then when we had Mona, that was a fun show, you guys. I think I watched it a couple times. Well, I usually watch them all a couple times. One just to, watch. And then the second one is when I kind of take notes. But it was a fun show. I have on there. It was a fun show. It started out with Joe saying him and his girl was counting the hairs on his balls. And Mona's dumbass was like, how many is it? Y'all, I died because she's dumb. Why are you asking that? Because Why is he telling them that? It's just crazy. Then we get into this whole argument with Ish and Ice, and they feel like dragons existed, but not dinosaurs. And of course, Mark had to go against them, and it was a whole thing. They believe in giants, and Mona kept saying, "Oh, this is dangerous, Joe. You got to stop them. This platform is too big for them to say that." He said, "You shut the fuck up, because the rant you went on talking about white people and white kids, and my kid can't be around white kids." So it was hilarious. They talked about this movie for about 45 minutes, you guys. It was just too much for me. I didn't see the movie. I'm not going to see the movie. I don't care about the movie. So there we go. And then we talked about Mona and what white man she would do it with. And come to find out, pretty much everybody. But they started with Matthew McConaughey. Is it Matthew McConaughey? Matthew McConaughey? I always say hey because Matthew McConaughey, y'all, he's my favorite white guy too. Not gonna lie. That's a sexy white man. He just is. So there's that. Joe's so stupid. He said this game has lost its luster. He's like, I got to get somebody with some standards because yeah, Mona liked everybody. We talked about Tory Lanez new album. Who cares? We move on. Ish got a restraining order against a woman. And they were so stupid talking about it. They were asking him questions. And once again, he's like, I can't answer that. And Joe had me cracking up. He's like, oh, it's an ongoing case? He's like, the case still open? They were talking about how he had the paperwork and would just be like, it's right here. Stay 100 feet back. When I tell you this was a funny episode, I died laughing. I have Parks on here. Parks used to get beat with hot spoons. Yes! And that was my favorite part of the pod, was learning that some girl used to beat Parks. Y'all, when I tell you I died. And he was like, yeah, she used to hit me with shoes. And Joe said heated spoons. I died. Mark called the police on a raccoon, and okay, I can see that. He felt bad he said that's the first time he ever had to call the police, and it ended up being on a raccoon. So when they were talking about just going back to Ish and the restraining order, so Mona asked, did you fuck the girl? Did you sleep with the girl? And he's like, yeah. And Mark says, oh, and then Mona says, was it good? And then Mark says, how'd it taste? I said, oh, Dr. Mark, really? Y'all, Dr. Mark is hood as shit. He's nasty. He's hood. And he is not who we think he is, I don't think. I'm telling y'all. Ooh, this is all alleged. I can't say that. I can't say all that. But I'm just going to say, he's something else, I feel. I fear, as the kids say, Dr. Mark is something else. Because who says that? And just so casually like that. It's crazy to me. They talked about LeBron getting a bald head, and he finally let it go. I haven't seen him, but I mean, they said it looked nice. And I will tell you guys, I love bald men, love bald men down. That is my thing. However, I have never seen, except Flip. I was about to say I've never seen a bald head that I don't really like, but Flip, his bald head isn't bad. He just has to leave his hat off so that it can be the color of his regular skin. He needs some sun on his goddamn head. But Will Smith just went bald, and I'm sorry, unattractive. It doesn't look good. I don't like it. That is the first time I have ever seen a bald guy, or even a guy that went bald and said, this doesn't work for you. And I don't know why. He still has the face, and his face is handsome. He's all right. But yeah, the bald head just didn't work for me. That brings us to today's episode, you guys. Picking and choosing. And Flip wasn't there and Mona wasn't there. So, I mean, the basics of this whole thing was them arguing about, it took a whole lot of time. Them arguing about Jay-Z and the fact that he is exclusively, or has this exclusive album cover in Target. And, his answer to that. And is he really an activist if he's doing that? And Ish was given some misinformation when he was like, oh, they said that it's over and Jamal Bryant is the face of it. And I was just like, Ish, you're losing, babe, you're losing, because that is all wrong. Like, it's wrong. Then he ends up pulling up some AI generated news, which also was wrong. But then we have Mark, on the other hand, saying he spoke to the organizers. And then when Ish was like, well, who's the organizer? He's like, oh, it's, a few people and some girl. And I'm like, did you speak to him or what? Like, what the fuck, Mark? Mark always wants to have some sort of attachment to everyone. Have you guys noticed that? Like, you guys, nobody says anything about the fact that all he does is name drop or try to have some sort of personal tie to everyone. And the shit is annoying. It just really is. It's like, dude, okay. I don't know how his wife deals with him, you guys. We move. But yeah, so they talked about that shit for a very long time, and then they ended up getting into a whole argument about it. Mark was super, super loud. It was annoying. Then in the end, it was just a lot of yelling about Mike Tyson being one of the top 5 most noticeable people in the world, and just shit you don't care about that they're talking about for like 45 minutes and stuff. Like, it's just ridiculous. They had topics apparently that they just didn't get to because they were talking about bullshit that nobody, and they just kept going in circles, like, who cares? Nobody cares. But that was it. That was kind of it for the day. Not too much there. I am going to wrap it up because that's it. But if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you be part of the Beautiful People family. Again, I want to thank each and every one of my new subbies personally. Thank you so much. I am getting way more engagement from you guys, and I actually love it. New people talking to me. I mean, I love my old people talking to me too. Don't get it twisted. But like, all these different perspectives and everything. And we know this community is not scared to call you out on shit. I like that too. I'm okay with getting called out. But like the video, you guys. It helps to push it out to other people. And subscribe if you haven't. It is a huge deal to me. It is literally free and just a click of the button. So you're the real MVP if you are still here. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.